Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 147. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I am Todd Oxtra, currently waiting for Star Wars Outlaws to arrive from Gamefly. Joined by the Canardian, Mark Carabin from Parts Unknown, waiting for his Ubisoft Plus month to show up from Ubisoft.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, man. I talked to the Ubisoft rep a couple of times. They've been pretty good sending us codes before. Said that they'd send, rather than send the game itself, they'd send some Ubisoft Plus a code or whatever, so I could check the game out and whatever, and whatever else on Ubisoft Plus. And I haven't heard back. So nothing against Ubisoft. I know they're busy with a game launch and all that kind of stuff. Still love it, but I haven't paid money for the game. So yeah, here we are.
XbacongamN, I know you listen to this podcast, sitting up in Montreal, overlording, eating poutine, Timbits, and listening. Please support Mark and his love of the Force. Get on it, Eves. Oh my goodness. We are joined by a new friend on our co-op couch. That is Mr. XbacongamN, aka Bacon, co-host of the Nerd Chat. Bacon, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here. You've helped us out plenty of times, so it's my turn to return the favor. But I do have a question for you, Todd.
Yes.
I was watching X-Men's Origins Wolverine the other day. Okay. I'm really confused at some timeline issues. I'm trying to figure out how Deadpool was around during the Vietnam era, and he was beautiful, pristine, just beautiful looking Deadpool. I don't know if he was supposed to be around in that time frame. My wife even looked at me, and she's not even a comic book person. And she's like, why is Deadpool here? That makes no... And I said, I don't know. I don't know if this is Disney's timeline. Is this Fox's time? I have no idea. So if you could, sir, take over and figure this out for me.
I will say at this point, nothing from the Fox era even makes sense anymore. It's just kind of thrown in the toilet. I mean, at this point, have you seen Wolverine Deadpool yet?
Oh, heck yeah, I have.
Okay, so there you go. So they're basically saying throw everything in the toilet. I mean, they didn't even ask Storm to come back. I mean, it was pretty sad. And yeah,
that version of Deadpool was confirmed to be a different version of Deadpool when Deadpool and Deadpool 2 shot him in the face.
He was not the anchor for that universe, apparently.
Was definitely not the anchor, was definitely not the same Deadpool that we've seen in the Deadpool movies. That was some sort of variant from a variant universe. Because realistic, like X-Men Origins Wolverine, that movie broke several things in timelines with Sabretooth from the original X-Men movie, and like just that movie was all sorts of broken, let alone like the actual issues with the movie, but just from a where does this fit into the X-Men universe kind of stuff, like that was so like, yeah, I think that would be now considered a pocket universe, a variant version, all that kind of shenanigans. It's a different Wolverine, it's a different Sabretooth, it's a different Deadpool who has been shot in the face by the Deadpool we now know and love.
I mean, I was really enjoying it, but it just kind of, I've seen it before. I just never put it all together until I really got into Deadpool lately. And I'm just like, wait a minute, none of this makes sense. And like I said, the wife, she was watching with side eye, like reading a book, and she's like, what? Wait, what? And so, all right. So let's delete Fox. Delete.
All right, gone. But fun fact, did you know that Nice Pool was played by Greg Reynolds?
Gordon.
Oh, is it Gordon? That's what it was.
Reynolds.
That's Ryan Reynolds' brother.
Okay. Evil twin.
Who isn't real. Yes. But he credited him as Gordon Reynolds, which I thought was great. Love it. All right. So Bacon, since you're new to the show.
Have you seen where Gordon Reynolds came from? Are you familiar with? Oh, okay. So Gordon Reynolds came from a 2016 interview for GQ that Ryan Reynolds did with himself.
That's right.
The person interviewing Ryan Reynolds was his evil twin brother, Gordon Reynolds. and was an absolute, basically evil twin dickhead the entire interview, making fun of Ryan Reynolds. So the fact that they brought that back, again, from a 2016 GQ interview of Ryan interviewing himself as his evil twin, was just fantastic. And he played Nice Pool, which is just, if you're going to get someone to play Nice Pool,
character.
Evil twin. Yeah.
It's like Ted Lasso being developed from an ESPN commercial.
Yeah.
There you go. Deep cuts. Well, very good. Well, Bacon, since some of the people don't know you very well as a gamer, you are a PC gamer. You play all the PlayStation games on PC. So we appreciate that. I don't think you own a Switch. Do you own a Switch?
I've owned 2 of them and haven't owned them for more than a month each before I sell them back.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
I really want to be a fan because of my love for Nintendo, but I just can't play on bad hardware.
No problem. So hopefully they'll be fixing that very soon. So your questions, you get 3. And I typically do this, and I'll mark. If you want to ask a question, by all means, jump in. First question I always ask, what was the first console you owned?
Well, this is going to date me, gentlemen, because my first console was an Atari 2600. One of my first memories as a child, my dad owned it prior to me maybe being in existence. I don't know. But I do remember playing with him, not understanding what I was doing at the time, but I was very young. But the first real console, of course, it was the NES. My first console I owned, I got for Christmas, was the Atari 5200. So Bacon, I asked for that console. It was a pile of garbage. So, funny story. My mom was a single mom at that point, and she bought us the NES as kind of a babysitter because back then rules didn't apply for child care and stuff like that. And my older sister didn't really care much about us, so my mom bought us an NES, and me and my brother spent billions of hours on that thing. And that was, raised in the desert, super desert in St. George, Utah, so I couldn't go out and play in the sun because it was 138 degrees. So we literally just played Nintendo. It was crazy. So, but rules didn't apply back then. So I'm sure now the folks in charge of children would probably have something to say about that. But
Latchkey Kids for the win. That was one of them. Ago. Oh yeah. Next question. What was the first game you bought with your own money?
So, bought with my own money, would it count if I bought a skateboard with my own money and then traded that skateboard to a guy for the game Blaster Master on the NES?
Yes.
That does count.
Absolutely, yes. I'm jumping in before Todd can even answer. That is incredible. Yeah.
It was such a hard game, and I remember him just struggling with it, and I had my skateboard with me, and I just traded it straight across and took it home, and I'm pretty sure I never beat that game, but it was a good 500-600 hours minimum. So
wow.
And finding his frog. Where'd that frog go? I don't know. We got to find it. Let's get a mech and a battle tank.
Okay.
Makes perfect sense.
All right.
Okay, Mark, do you have a question?
Oh man. I love that. The trading a skateboard for a video game just tells me everything I need to possibly know, I think.
I'll say I was much better at video games than I was at skateboarding, so it was an easy trade for me. So
me too. Yeah, my skateboard never got used. Yeah.
One I'll ask. You've mentioned, trading a skateboard for games, but you've also mentioned like returning or selling Switch systems. Are you a collector of games, systems, anything like that? And if so, like, what's your favorite thing that you have?
So I've always been a guy that uses the money from whatever I'm selling to fund my next thing, especially as a PC gamer. I usually sell like a graphics card before the new one comes out, and I won't have a PC for like a week because I need that money in my hot hands because my wife doesn't agree with my habit as much as I do. So I sold both my consoles, my Series X and my PS5 to buy my desk. So I got this super elaborate. Yeah, I got the super elaborate.
I know you have a nice desk. I just didn't know it was that nice of a desk.
Yeah. It was it was like $1,300 when it was all said and done for a desk. So
holy crap.
I don't collect. I mean, back behind me I used to have a whole bunch of boxes from all my PC hardware in the backdrop, just so people can see I had 4090 and all that. And then my wife came up one day and said that was stupid. So I went to a barbecue at a friend's house, and he had all these action figurines, your Deadpools and your Captain Americas, just sitting in a tub on the floor in his living room. And I'm like, this is a tragedy to have these here. So I bought them all off him for $60. Everyone says I ripped him off, but he seemed pretty happy. So I didn't know the price of them all, but they're all pretty sweet. So
one man's Blaster Master is another man's skateboard.
Right. So I don't collect. I do usually just sell everything right off. Only physical game I actually own right now is StarCraft 2 for PC. One of the first games I bought on PC. Wow. I still have that box up in my closet. That's about it.
All right. I think you need to find a copy of Blaster Master. Bacon.
It is on the Nintendo, whatever their online thing is. Blaster Master was on their last Switch I had. Is actually the reason why I bought a Switch, was to play that game again.
Yep.
And still can't beat it.
I'm a big fan of what I want to go back and do is like actually buy like cartridges and mount them, like just frame them and put them on a wall. Right. I think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen those? There's stuff you can look them up on like Etsy and stuff, but they'll do a full like diorama of, let's say, like Link grabbing the Master Sword or something like that, but then they have like Link to the Past, the SNES cartridge somewhere in the background, so you can kind of like actually mount that, but like it's a full 3D diorama kind of thing. They're amazing.
And real quick, see that poster next to my door right there?
Mm-hmm.
I see a poster. It says
"Blow Me."
Blow me.
It's an NES
cartridge.
Yeah.
I like
it. Nice. I also like the. It's a company that basically call it Explosion. I don't know what you call it, but basically they take apart handhelds and controllers and basically mount them, all the parts. It looks really cool. Yeah. I mean, it's really neat. I love that
they
stuff.
do that with phones and iPods and any kind of old retro tech. They'll do that and mount it for you. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, somebody needs to do that with the Nokia N-Gage, and then we're talking about quality. All right. Well, we are all into it. Bacon, you're in for the ride, so let's get to business, Mark. I think you need to thank somebody.
I guess, yeah. If it's coming to that time, and we definitely have to thank our amazing friends and supporters over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite, where you can go right now for a free 1-week trial to check out everything, the ad-free versions of all our shows, exclusive shows, bonus content, and all that great stuff. Again, over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite, where you can join our besties tier. Chris from 1H1D, Derek Trevelyan, aka the Figure Dude, Francie, the official hairstylist of SFU. I wasn't consulted on that official title, but I'm sure Francie is fantastic. The Xbox Expansion Pass and Charlie's Uncle Tim. Thank you all. Especially, I just love Charlie's Uncle Tim. I love that mysterious man who apparently doesn't own any devices aside from like tape players, but still loves to support the show. The Friends with Benefits tier, we have to thank John Sedorf, the Phoenix Sisters Entertainment group, Brennan Myers, Corey and HD, and the Boss Rush podcast, Matthew and Matthew Keel, as well as the incredible Nias family who supports us at the Secret Friends Super Squad tier. Sean, Stella, Henry, Todd, you just went over and did some fun stuff with them. I'm sure you're going to talk about that very soon, but needless to say, that family is incredible. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to everyone that supports us. Again, you can get exclusive shows, no ads on all of these main shows, and other Discord benefits and all that kind of stuff for as little as $2 a month. If you are going to do that, head over to the website. Do not use the iOS app for signing up for Patreon. Apple's charging a 30% fee for all new members. It's utter BS. You get the same benefits if you sign up through the website, and you can still use the iOS app. So don't give Apple a penny. Just sign up on the website and then use the iOS app as your podcast listening device and to see all the posts and all that kind of stuff. So skip the iOS app. Don't give Apple a cent and join us over there. And if you can't join us and you can't throw a buck or two our way, that is totally okay. That is awesome. Support us in other ways. Share the show, tell a friend, share some posts, go subscribe on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. It all helps. It all means the world to us. So thank you to everyone over on patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. And thank you to everyone listening and supporting us in other ways as well.
Absolutely. I'm talking to Shanias about doing a show very soon relating to the world of fantasy football. So hold on for that. So we will be talking about that. And Mark, we cannot wait for your next episode of Walk Nerdy with me. I'm excited for when it gets really cold. And
so that's why there was no episode this week. I was going to record one, and then it was raining the night I was all set to record. And I was like, I can't take a microphone out in the rain. And it was just, so I was going to record one tonight, and it was raining again. So I need to maybe think of a way to do something when the weather sucks, because it just kind of keeps kicking me in the
Walking in the rain is so much fun. You can hear the rain drops.
See, I don't mind walking in the rain. I'm still trying to like complete my Apple Watch rings and all that kind of stuff. So I'll go out and walk in the rain, but like I've tried it. I had an episode ruined by wind that you couldn't hear a GD thing. And then the rain, it was just like teeming down, and it looked like I jumped in a lake when I got home. But yeah, I gotta think of some alternate things.
Mark needs some help, folks, with some walking and talking audio production. There you go.
We'll figure it out. I might the alternate option for me might be to podcast. Finn asked me this evening if I wanted to podcast, and he sat at his little activity table and pretended to podcast. So that might be, I might bring back talking with Finn.
Sure.
For like a thing if the weather keeps sucking. But I think this week's supposed to be good, so I'll hopefully get out in the next day or two and record some walkie-talkie thoughts.
Well, stay tuned, and we'll see how Merc tames the elements.
Yeah.
But with that, we get into Buy, Rent, Return. This is the segment that really shows our true natures. So this week on Buy, Rent, Return, console updates. I know the best way to say this, but basically think about a console where they had an update to the hardware, and you're like, wow, that is so much better than what it launched as. So I have chosen the PS4 Pro, the GBA SP, and the Xbox One S. And we do have famous Seamus and Daddy Diwali, who both gave us their takes. So I'm going to read famous Seamus. Or Mark, do you want to take famous Seamus, and I'll take Dan's?
Yeah, I can.
Before we start,
take Seamus's. Yeah, fantastic. And his is very similar to, I think, what mine might end up being. So, by GBA SP, the built-in backlight helps improve the GBA tenfold. Plus, the camshell helps protect the screen and make it easier to carry around. Can confirm. Rent the Xbox One S. The box being smaller helps and makes it look less like a VCR. Yep. And return the PS4 Pro. I never owned a PS4 Pro, but I honestly don't really think there's much difference between it and a regular PS4. Plus, I think the extra slice is just a place for dust to gather, and I think that was kind of a problem with the PlayStation 4 Pro. So yeah, I think pretty fair takes.
Yeah, very good takes. Daddy Diwali, Dan from the Nerd Chat, said buy X1 Series S, rent PS4 Pro, and return GBA for me. Basically, I did this last gen, bought a PS4 Pro and played exclusives and then sold it. There we go. So, Bacon, you're our guest. What do you choose?
You know, I'm probably going to have to agree with Dan on this one, just based on the amount I play on my Xbox, and I've always played on Xbox. I did own a PS4 Pro, and it was never turned on, tragically. I don't remember finishing a game on the PS. And I had a PS4 Standard, didn't use it. Bought the Pro, didn't use it. So let's see. So what is it? Buy, rent, return. So I'm going to rent the PS4 Pro just so I can play The Last of Us, maybe again.
Okay.
And then the Game Boy, I'm just probably going to return it because, I mean, I had the original big Game Boy with the AA batteries. It was pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lifesaver on family car trips, but a black and white screen wasn't too good, and the games weren't exceptional. So I'm going to return that one. That's my list.
Nice. Xbox One S. Which Xbox One S did you own?
I owned the VCR, and then I upgraded to the Series 1X.
Okay,
so I never had
not the 1S, the kind of the beginner's guide. You went to the 1X. Okay.
Yeah, and I had to Frankenstein because I was on the insider ring, and it corrupted my hard drive. So then I had to perform surgery and put a new hard drive in it, and it never worked the same after that. I bet I did get full trade in at GameStop when I traded it in for the Series X. So it all worked out well.
Hey, gotta love
Excellent.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark, what's your take?
You know what? Like I said, I'm gonna pretty much mirror Famous Seamus, the GBA SP, and you even included a picture of the one that I actually have.
Oh, very nice.
And I have this on my desk because of my new RG35XX. I've been playing the hell out of this thing the last couple of weeks, really. But I found a friend who has a Cricut machine thing, and they're gonna print these things. So I'm gonna make my new one look like my old one. And then I actually found someone that on Etsy that'll print the inside of this. So this thing's gonna look like that one really, really soon, which
Bringing
I'm
it back.
very excited for. Yeah. But yeah, my cousin owned the original GBA, and I kind of held off on that one. I was still playing my Game Boy Color for a little while, and this thing adding the backlight, man, Bacon, you said made the car trips and everything. Game Boy Color for me was great on car trips, but I always needed that little worm light and the flexi pin and all that kind of stuff, like all those little accessories. This thing didn't need an accessories, didn't even need a case because you could fold it up and protected the screen. You just fired this in a pocket or whatever I had with me, and that was it, right? This was all I needed.
Didn't it charge or something too? Did it have a charger, like a chargeable battery, or no?
Yeah, like rechargeable battery in this.
Killed off the AA's.
Yeah. So this was everything. This still works. I still have the plug, so the rechargeable battery still works in this. So that to me was like the upgrade. That was one of the best. Really felt like it was worthwhile protecting the screen and with a backlight and all that kind of stuff. So that was a worthwhile upgrade. Plus, the designs were just sick. Like they released this NES edition one. There was a few Pokemon special editions and a couple of other things that were just like they were really hitting it hard with all of that kind of stuff. More than just the usual here's 3 colors, pick one. So that was a great system. The Xbox One S and the PS4 Pro, I feel both of these were kind of incremental. And since I'm more of an Xbox fan, I'm going to give the rental to the Xbox One S, even though I actually skipped that one. I had the original Xbox One that I bought secondhand from a friend, loved it, but kind of recognized that it needed some upgrades. And that's where the One X came in, Project Scorpio, whatever you want to call it. Adding that speed, making it a little bit that was kind of the incremental step to the series consoles, right? So that one to me felt a little bit more worthwhile, where my launch PS4, or not launch, but my regular PS4, the Destiny White Edition, was fine. Never really tempted me to get a PS4 Pro. That one just kind of did me what I needed to do, with that, and played the PlayStation exclusives and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of a hit against Xbox, is where I felt like the Xbox One needed an upgrade, but the PlayStation 4, I was just like, this is fine. This is doing everything I needed to do. Right. But I still like the Xbox more. I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, I'll stick with that for now.
My PS4 Pro was the single loudest piece of equipment I've ever had in any of my houses at any time in my life. I'm telling you, 747 jet. constantly, and it never got used. And it was the loudest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
Have you ever met my Xbox 360?
I
That
bet
thing
my
sounds like a
PS4
jet.
Pro was louder.
That disc when it spins, holy crap! Yeah, that'll lead into my story, which I will get to you now. So myself, this is a hard one because I felt like, for me, it's what I will say is different than necessarily where I spent my time, but I would say the GBA SP is the buy, but I never bought one. I had the original GBA, and it was horrible because of that no backlit screen. It was impossible to see. Great little console, but you couldn't see it. So I owned one. I sent it away to a dude who installed the Afterburner, which at the time was, he installed a backlight screen into the GBA for like $40. This is at a time where I could have just been throwing my GBA away, but it actually worked. He did the work, sent it back, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Because I did try to do all those like magnifiers, lights, all of the add-ons. What a waste. But yeah. Once I got that, I was so happy because games looked good. So, but the GBSB with all those updates and things like that, it was a no-brainer. I think the price was the same or less too. A rechargeable battery. I mean, that is what you call an update. That makes the system far better. I'm renting the Xbox One S. I owned the original Xbox One with Kinect. I owned the Xbox One S, and I own an Xbox One X. Why? Don't ask me why. It was probably my least favorite Xbox console, to be honest. I loved the original OG Xbox, loved the 360. Xbox One S was like, ugh, it was a weird one. But the Xbox One S was the system, I think, that got Xbox back because it was before the One X. It basically made it affordable. It added a Blu-ray drive. Was it a 4K Blu-ray drive or a Blu-ray drive? Okay, it added
a Blu-ray drive because the One X was 4K. But correct. I could be wrong.
And I can't remember. It was, but it had a decent, good drive in it too, and it was really cheap. I think it was a 4K drive. I think that was what it was. It was like, oh my god, it was like $300. And it was small, quiet, worked great. All the capabilities of the Xbox One, and it shrunk it down and made it affordable, which I thought was a great thing. And the one I'm showing here is the Gears of War version. So I think that was where Xbox. I think it happened when around Phil Spencer came on board. Maybe, don't know, but that's where I felt like Xbox finally was getting it and really reacting to some of the problems they had. So I think that was a great system. But I did go to the Xbox One X because I was just like, I loved tech. So I'm like, what's next? It's going to be great.
Oh, crap,
it was fine. Right. Got us to Blu-ray.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was a cheap 4K Blu-ray player. I'm like, this is great. Yeah. Wow. What a deal. Yeah. And yeah, I thought it was a great way to get into, regular gaming. One X got you to 4K. PS4 I'm returning, even though I did own the PS4 Pro. I own the Star Wars edition with Battlefront 2. So I own that version. I like the fact that it looks like, a burger with an extra piece of meat or cheese in the middle. I like the design. I always love the design of the PS4. But to me, I played more of it and then I just traded in. So, but the PS4 was fine enough. And I don't know if the PS4 Pro with 4K really lived up to the hype, just like the Xbox One X. I don't know if it really lived up to the hype, but there you go.
Awesome.
How many red rings of death did you have? So I had 3 red rings on my 360
with the Xbox.
Yeah.
I never red ringed, but Dishonored. Every time I played Dishonored to a certain point, the system just shut off. So I always say Dishonored killed my box, but it worked still after. But I'm like, okay, I'm trading that bad boy in, and we're doing something else. So yeah. My most problematic consoles have always been my PlayStations because the disk drive died. Like my Xbox, my original PlayStation, my PlayStation 2, my PlayStation 3, PS4 didn't die on me. It was fine. I just traded up for that. But yeah, PlayStation's always had a build qualities with its drives. So that's my challenge. All right. We're going to get into what we've been gaming. We've got some comments about the bonus round comment, but we'll get into what we've been gaming. So, Bacon, what have you been gaming?
I've been playing a fair amount of the COD beta. What I got? I'm level 15 right now. Hopefully, we'll finish that off tonight. Level 20's level cap. It feels like it's probably the best Call of Duty in a really long time. Omni movement is actually quite awesome. When you're playing other iterations of it and someone's laying prone and they turn and their bodies are all just blip, 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 looking like a dead fish. Omni movement is really cool because you can dive and then even aim while you're diving. So you can look right or left while you're diving and fire.
Like Max Payne?
Right. And then you roll on your back and you can see your feet and you're shooting between your feet at someone. It actually is really good. Dan was fighting it pretty hard, but he might have come around on a little bit. He thinks the time to kill is too slow. I think it's just right. So I have a feeling this one's going to be pretty darn popular. I'm excited. I might even buy the $30 upgrade for the Game Pass and get the Vault Edition. And then Destiny 2.
I'm going to stop you, though, before you... I got to stop you. How does that movement work? Is there a special button you hit?
It's, on your Xbox controller when you hit the... if you set it up like I do, when I hit the right stick, I slide. But if I hold the right stick, I can dolphin dive. And then as you dolphin dive, you can aim that stick. Like if you know someone's to the left and you're diving through a doorway and you can literally in midair, you can turn and face them and start shooting.
That's crazy.
And then if you're prone and you pull back on the stick, you'll just roll on your back. And it's seamless and it actually works very, very well. So
shit, I might have to try this.
I was going to say, I just need to watch this because I want to see how it looks like as a third party observer, because I can then see first person's got to look kind of, I don't know how it feels when you're doing it. Do you feel like you just look at your legs are doing like my legs? I can see my legs, or is it
like
the first, I don't know. I haven't tried to shoot myself. The first couple,
that's what I would do.
I want to say the first night I was like, I don't know about any of this. It felt, and you can tell it's different developers or different studios, in-house studios that make the games. It just feels a little different, like the audio and the mechanics felt a little. And then the second night I was playing it all just kind of clicked. And I feel really fast. I feel really fluid. You see some of these dudes that are really, really good diving out of second story windows and turning on you. They might not be all accurate, but it is actually super fun. I have a feeling this COD is going to probably break some records, especially since Verdansk is coming back in Warzone. So I'm a big Call of Duty dude. So
when does beta end?
I want to say Wednesday, actually.
Okay. So after this is, probably by that time this is out, this will be over. So sorry, guys.
Right. I might have to get on that.
And then the other game is Destiny 2 Final Shape. Finally came on sale in the Xbox store, so Chapo and I picked it up. And him and Dan are running through it on Legendary. Bungie and their shooting is always good. Their story is still nonsensical. I have trouble understanding what I'm doing. I'm just basically there for Dan at this point because he really wants us to finish Destiny. So I'll finally put a pin in Destiny, and I should never have to pick it up again. But it's a cool world. It's hard. I mean, Legendary is hard. It's super hard. So I'm having a good time with it, but that's about been my week. So
I'm still stuck on the last campaign. I've been meaning to get back to it, finish it, because I want to get to the final shape. I've got my friend Sean. He's in the same boat. So my son has been my Sherpa. He's at college now. So I don't know if this is going to work. His PC's at college. So unless he's got some free time, I will try to do it myself, get my friend and his son now, since they've got their gaming PC. We'll figure something out because I need to finish the fight with Destiny. I've been there since the alpha on PS4 for Destiny. So I got to get in, finish the fight, and just have a good time. I've heard the final shape is amazing, though. Like it's one of the best.
Pretty good
campaigns. Yeah. Okay.
It's way better than Lightfall so far. So
that's what I've heard. Lightfall is not the best. I am frustrated with some of their game elements and some of their choices in Lightfall. So I got to make it through, though. Very cool. Mark.
Yeah. So I already mentioned I'm not playing Star Wars Outlaws, which is, you know what? I'm fine with that. Like I said, I'm playing a few other things. So I'm okay. And the early adopter, the people that paid for the deluxe edition and got it, what was it, 3 days early, 2 days early, something like that. You got the game early, but then there was like a whole bunch of bugs and
PlayStation 5. I've heard PC and PlayStation 5 saves. I'm not sure about Xbox. Apparently, everyone getting wiped.
Everyone had to start over. So your 3 days early basically amounted to nothing. So you gave Ubisoft all this money for the deluxe edition, and they were like, "JK, you got to start over when everyone else does. Trinket. Here's a patch, and here's a stupid trinket for you." So like, hearing that, and then just like not hearing back from the Ubisoft rep, I'm like, I'm okay. I'm saving for a Disney World trip. If I can wait till Black Friday or Boxing Day sales or something like that, whatever it is, Ubisoft games. Bacon, you kind of said it already. Like Ubisoft games go on sale pretty quickly,
really quick.
And I love Ubisoft games. We had a great relationship with them, from Assassin's Creed to even like Skull and Bones. I had fun with. But if I have to put a pin in this one for a little bit, I might get bored. I know I have a bit of bonus coming at work this paycheck, so I might get bored and be like, hey, whatever, here's Star Wars Outlaws. But for now, there might be a pin in that game. What I have been playing is a ton of Pikmin 4 because my son, we were watching some videos, some like Pokemon videos and stuff on YouTube, which he loves those. And then he spotted one that was someone playing Pikmin. And he was like, hey, what's that? And he's familiar with the Pikmin characters because I have, the amiibo and that kind of stuff. And he's seen the game on the Switch. And he's like, we have that game. I was like, yeah, we do. He's like, can we play that game? Like, sure. Yeah. So I re-downloaded Pikmin 4 and we started from scratch. And he loves it. There is a co-op mode in that one, which I completely forgot about that. Yeah. But the second controller is basically a reticule on the screen that can throw rocks and some assist items and that kind of stuff. So when he finds the combat too hard, I take over player one and he just throws rocks. But most of the time, I'm just there to assist him and throw rocks and kind of point him in the right direction, which is great having a reticule on the screen and be like, hey, go over this way. And I just like spin the circle around of like, hey, what you should go to and that kind of stuff. But man, the Pikmin games are so good that I'm now thinking about buying 1 and 2 because I never bought the 1 and 2 bundle on Switch. But it's been years since I played 1 and 2, back on the GameCube, I guess.
Yeah, GameCube.
Yeah. So I think I might have to dabble and get 1 and 2. So yeah, we have been completely engrossed in Pikmin, and aside from my usual Star Wars hunters and absolutely loving this season of Fortnite. And now, Bacon, you've got me tempted to play another online shooter. So I've got to add something else. I got to at least try this Call of Duty, man. It's sounding good.
It's for the cost of nothing for Game
Pass.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
Mark. So nothing. And the campaign looks badass, Mark. The campaign looks so good. Robert Redford on a motorcycle. I mean, Zombies is back in kind of like round base, which to me is my honey. That's the multiplayer I play. So
yeah,
it's gonna be good.
Traditional prestige coming back instead of being I'm a rank 525 or something like that. It's just
okay, man.
So
is Miley Cyrus gonna be in this season too?
All the operators right now are just standard military, just standard people. Oh no, I guess there is some zombies.
Didn't they have WWE too? They had like a WWE mode. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's when the last one started going off rails. Is when I saw Nicki Minaj and Lilith from Diablo.
Right.
That's right.
It's for the kids, and game hasn't lost its popularity. So
when does COD drop again?
Is it
October 30th?
October 25th?
Okay, so there'll be some Halloween stuff probably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
As there always is with COD. So
So were any of you guys disappointed seeing that Outlaws is like really stealth driven game?
I've heard the stealth is not that great.
Yeah, and that's again another reason that I'm kind of holding off is like I am not a massive fan of stealth games unless they're done exceedingly well. Because if there's nothing worse for me than a stealth game where everyone else is like, I just got hit in the face with a shovel level stupid, and they just don't act like things will act. Right. Or like the game is just like, it doesn't let you do something of like,
no,
hey, there's two guys here. I need to wait for them to move, but I've got to wait 10 minutes to watch their stupid little conversation and then they move. Whereas like, can I just shoot them in the head or throw a rock over that way? But like, you can't, there's no throw a rock button for some reason. Like, it's just, that kind of stuff drives me nuts. So stealth when it's done well, but stealth when it's done fine is, again, another reason why I'm kind of like, I've been reading some of the reviews and just like, I don't know, man.
It's weird. In a span of a week, I've gone from incredibly excited to play this game to I'm going to wait for a sale. I'm not a huge stealth guy, but I tolerate it.
Yep.
But that's not any Star Wars I can think of that's like super stealth driven. And I get it. There's no Jedis in this, and you can't just walk up and
it's like asking Han Solo to be stealthy, right?
Thank you. I was just going to say, you don't need a Jedi to be Han Solo, guns blazing, going into a place. And that's kind of what I wanted from this, was a Han Solo simulator.
Open world Han Solo. Yep.
It doesn't matter who the main character is, but like, for me, it was Han Solo Simulator 2024. And it just doesn't seem like it's the world, but not the gameplay that I was kind of hoping for. So I definitely will pick this up, and I'm excited to experience that world, but the mechanics of it are making me say like, I don't know if this is going to be my jam. And I've got enough other stuff. There's a new Zelda game in a couple of weeks. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't need to spend my money on something.
Trailer was amazing.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Like, I don't, if I'm thinking about picking up Pikmin 1 and 2 and Zelda in the next couple of weeks, I don't need to spend money that could be.
Denmark Assassin's Creed comes out in November. Yeah. That's your jam.
Yeah. 100%.
So,
So that's where I'm at. The other thing I'm playing is, like I said, the RG35XX. Absolutely loving this thing as a handheld. I did try to finally hook it up to my TV. I got the little mini HDMI output thing, but it was just giving me a super hard time trying to sync up a controller through Bluetooth. Yeah, really, really finicky. I finally got one to work, and it was laggy as hell. I was not super impressed. I did plug a controller in to the USB-C port. Just a standard Xbox Series controller, I think, is what I finally ended up plugging in. And it was fine. It was good. But as something that has like every game ever on it, is neat as a concept to have this and a cable and a controller and kind of take it anywhere. Like, I'm thinking, take it to the cottage and just have this and a controller and a kind of.
That's your console. Yeah, with a couple controllers, right? That's perfect. Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know if I have to talk to Batpix a little bit more. He did help me with some troubleshooting, which was fantastic. There may be some settings, because I still noticed it was a little laggy or it didn't feel right. And it feels really right playing handheld. So there was something between, maybe it's the HDMI or a setting or something that I missed, that it just doesn't feel right, versus playing on my SNES Classic, which I've hacked and loaded a ton more games in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Super easy to do.
Really?
Love the controller on that one. Like, that one's good. So if I need to take something this size with me to plug into a TV, I'm probably just going to still take the Classic. You know what I mean? Like, and I even have a wireless controller for that. So like, I know it works. I know it has the games I want to play. I'm not super concerned. So like, this is still my perfect handheld, but like, I was hoping it would also be my perfect like retro console all-in-one kind of thing. But so far it's not that. Again, need to like tinker with some settings or do something, figure out RetroArch and like really dive down into it. And I've been looking at some Reddits and stuff for tips and whatever. Apparently there's also some Discord channels that Batpixel suggested I try out. So a lot of trial and error. It's still very new for me, but as of right now, it is still, like we talked about last week, perfect, absolutely perfect retro handheld. Not so much cutting it on the retro console, but we'll see.
I wonder if like an 8-bit dough. 8-bit dough seems to be like the most like it just works everywhere.
Could not get
Didn't
that
work with yours. Okay,
no, not at all. Yeah, it was.
Have you tried a Google
it
Stadia controller?
No.
I have one.
The 8-bit dough, like, it came up in the list. It was there, and I was like, "Let's go!" And it just none of the buttons were working. Tried to remap the buttons. It says hold in up for 3 seconds to kind of like get it to go. Nothing. Had to like hard reset the console because then no buttons would work. Really finicky thing, but I don't know. I'll keep tinkering with it. I might even try some like some of the community OSs or whatever. Batpixel was talking about MuOS. He gave me a list or a couple of recommendations of other Batocera, and there's another one that he mentioned to like research what they have, because I know like MuOS turns off Bluetooth, which I thought was bad, but then when there's lag in the Bluetooth control, I'm like, well, who cares about Bluetooth? Maybe MuOS apparently gives better N64 emulation and a couple of other things that might be more beneficial, including a better version of RetroArch, which might help with this translation to the TV. So I don't know. There's some pros and cons and things that I want to kind of like fiddle with. We'll see how it goes.
Just send it to Batpixel. I'm sure just like my Afterburner will go well.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, gentlemen, really quick recap. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I got through 3 of the 5 levels.
Awesome.
And got enough done.
Okay.
It is not Luigi's Mansion 3. Let me just put it that way. It just feels a little bit too much like I've been there, done that. It feels like I'm just not having the wanderlust of that game where you could just go. It was like open world. I want more of that, but this game was fun. I'm glad I got to play it. Looks great. If you've never played a Luigi's Mansion game before, play this one first, then get to 3 because that's the real deal. But it's back. GameFly has it back, which allowed me to get Star Wars Outlaws eventually. It was shipped. I'm waiting for it to arrive. Labor Day. Happy Labor Day with a U, Mark Canadian.
Yeah, thank you.
I sometimes forget. I asked my wife today. I think Canada has a Labor Day, don't they?
Yeah, it was a full day.
But it's with a U, so it's even better.
Weekend. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm waiting for Star Wars Outlaws. So I'm very excited for that because I think it will be a good time. Hopefully there's another patch before I play it, so I don't lose all my progress. So please.
That
one quick question.
Patched, but yeah.
Okay. One quick question: is Ubisoft where there is a cloud save anywhere where regardless of how you play it goes there, or is it only per platform?
I don't know. I think that's like a per game kind of thing. Maybe I'd have to look that up,
because that's where the Ubisoft Plus comes in. Like, start it there,
right, yeah,
and then maybe play it on when you buy it for cheap elsewhere, so you don't have to subscribe. So that's my only thought. I'm like, I'm not 100% sure, and they were advertising the game on college football last night. LSU, what was the LSU USC game? Tons of ads. Xbox. It was like Xbox, blah, play it there. I'm like, just when Xbox starts advertising and it's the game that is struggling, which sucks. And I'm like, and Disney's like, damn it, Xbox, you're going to advertise this damn game.
Yeah.
You're going to do it. But they had like QR codes where you could like snap and say, you get this thing. So I got something for Star Wars Outlaws by clicking the QR code. Disney Plus was offering the same one, but your Ubisoft account and your Disney Plus account had to have the same email. I'm like, damn it, Disney. I don't know if they're the same. They're not.
Mine definitely are not the same. So
yeah, it didn't work. But the one from Ubisoft Plus, it just went to it. So I think I'm assuming when you connect your Ubisoft account, it'll go to it. So if I can find the link to it, I'll share, and everybody can have that. But I'm sure it's on the commercial. If you watch it now, you'll see that there. But I'm glad they're actually advertising this. But it's a shame that when they're putting all this advertising behind it, it's a game that just is getting so reviews. A game, though, I want to give a big shout out to Gimpy Jay. from our Discord. Jason Marshall's pretty great guy, runs a great game blog, covers a lot of indies. He invited me to the Deadlock invite trials on Steam. So Deadlock is the quiet secret Steam and Valve has had about this new game they've been developing. And it's basically everybody knows about it, but Valve doesn't want to tell anybody. And it's finally going through like basically hidden betas, invite only. And this is essentially their their MOBA / hero shooter game. So think of like a Strife, kind of that game, if you remember that came out. So where it's basically first person, you're playing, you've got different character classes, but you've got your lanes. And I have not really played a MOBA before, but I have played a hero shooter before. So having this was interesting. You look at the map, and essentially the map has basically 4 lanes against the enemies, and you have your 4 lanes as your side, and you've got to protect your gates. And basically you've got 4 players that you go out with. It's a hero shooter. It's first person. So you've got essentially all these abilities. You update, upgrade all of your abilities. I think there's, you start off with 2 abilities, and then you can then unlock a 3rd ability, which you then can upgrade with points. They call souls is basically what you get. There's health. There's all these things. And there is 20 characters. It's amazing. 20 characters, all different varieties. Your tank, your sniper, your healer, your all these different varieties that you're used to. All are unique. One guy looks like Hellboy, which I thought was kind of cool. One guy looks like a robot. One guy looks like a Russian, and it's all different. All these. One guy's a gelatinous oozy guy.
I like how they had a lot of like some of the weirdest people, like a gelatinous cube, a robot, and a Russian. Like just
is that too random?
Well, I mean, it was like
standard people. You're a robot. You're a gelatinous guy. You're Russian. Yeah, you're robot.
It's a standard weird video game archetype. It's like, hey, we have like the like Hylian attack twink, the giant robot Hellboy guy, and the Russian.
Absolutely.
All right.
The one thing they've added, though, they added like a railway system where you can jump up and grab onto it, and it takes you down to different parts. So it reminds me of like BioShock Infinite. If you remember that, there was those arenas where they had like the rails. Yeah. So I added that, and it's very much like you've got to take down their big guy at the end to take him down. What I like that they did over like Concord, which is the new game that's coming out that everybody is basically, well, nobody's playing. Everybody's talking about how bad it is, but nobody's actually playing it. It's $40. There's characters. It looks like Guardians of the Galaxy. I think the game plays well, but it's just, I played the beta. It just is not there for a big audience. This one though, I was looking, 150,000 people are playing this game, and it's invite only.
Holy shit.
It's crazy. It is crazy. Numbers. Exactly. Yeah. I had no problem finding people to play with. It's very easy to get into. I have the ability to send invites to anybody on Steam, so let me know. Friend me. I'll send you an invite. You'll have a good time. And what I love, they have a thing called a playground. I think it's called Playground. You can just play any of the characters just to try it out. You can just see if that character is for you. You're not committing. You're playing around with it. You can then upgrade and get points to get all of your upgrades unlocked, so you can see what your character will eventually kind of be like, which is great. Who wants to choose the character class that isn't for you? And you play around. There's basically bots that are with you. Some abilities, though, are dependent on having other heroes with you, though. That's the only thing you can't try out. So basically, it's like a support thing or a buff thing. So right. I'm highly impressed with the game. I don't know what their model is. I'm assuming it'll be like Team Fortress Classic or, Dota or something like that, where it'll be supported by probably cosmetics or maybe a season pass. I don't expect it to be pay, and I don't expect it to be pay for characters. So I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So Bacon, if you're interested, I can I'll friend you, send you an invite, try it out. It's pretty dope. It looks great. Their character designs are very good. It reminds me of like Blizzard's Overwatch characters, where they're very They have a lot of dialogue too, which is pretty funny. They're always compounding, and I guess Concord, they have like one line, that's it. And it's supposed to be a cinematic game that engages characters. So it's interesting that a team like Valve, and I was looking also, Valve only has like 400 employees. Wow. And of those 400, 80 work for Steam. So that tells you only 320 people are making games. And those are some of the most successful games in the industry. Crazy. Yeah.
Amazing.
So there you go. That is Deadlock. Check it out.
Also, what good character design and like entertaining kind of thing. That's why I'm hooked on Star Wars Hunters. It's like, I don't know if you saw on Instagram, like I grabbed that half-second clip from the Nintendo Direct thing, and I actually posted it before Zynga did, or any of the Star Wars accounts, because I grabbed it and it was just like, holy shit, here's the next Hunter that's coming out in September, and it's an Ewok in a miniature ATST tank. Like, that's amazing. Yeah, I can't wait for that character to drop. Like, they just keep knocking it out of the park with these like interesting, fun, engaging looking characters that if you're a Star Wars fan, even casually, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember the cute little murder teddy bears and like those kind of walker things. Like, this is a mini one. That's adorable. Let's play. But it's like, when you get that kind of thing, like you said, it doesn't have to be a licensed or whatever. It's just engaging characters, fun lines, cool designs, versus like, here's this like cliche cookie cutter character with one line. Please pay us money.
Yeah. And then we'll say, we'll get you more cinematics and things like that later to make you love the characters more. And I'm like, that's hoping a lot to get there. So check out Concord on PS Plus probably in a couple months. Oh, Bacon.
Don't check out Concord.
There you go. No, it's a rough call. Poor game. I think there's less than 1,000 people playing it. So that's
good Lord.
That's rough. And that's on PlayStation and PC right now. So that's not a good sign. A game I am playing on PlayStation Plus that I just started was one of the monthly games from this month. I think you can't get it anymore. Or maybe you can get it today before tomorrow. But it is a game called Ender Lilies. Once again, these Japanese games with their names, I don't understand what it means, but you are playing a girl who gets basically a ghost who is helping her defend herself. So he's almost like it's like a defense character with her that's like a knight, and she can gather up other characters that you defeat and gather them as well. It's like a Metroidvania, but the all the offense is done by like this knight ghost character. So like slashing, hacking. The first boss you beat is like this automaton lady with a what's the spike on a stick called?
Lance?
No, the spike on the stick. It's like the spike ball.
Oh, like a flail?
Yeah, like a flail. So you defeat the lady. She has a flail. You can then use her too as like a secondary attack, and she has different abilities. So it's that type of game where I assume I'll get more of these support characters after you beat them. They'll be with you. It's cute. And the art style is beautiful. It's very fun. Not a lot, no voice acting. It's a lot of reading. The cinematic score is amazing, but I just didn't find the actual playing of the game that interesting to me. I've played other Metroidvania games which are far more engaging from a combat perspective and exploration perspective, but this one's out there. I want to try it. Jason recommended this one to me. He said try it. I'm like, well, I will. I played it Plus. It was fine. So check it out if you're looking for a game.
Right?
Switch, it's on Xbox, everything like that. So I think it's typically around $10-15. So if you're interested, it's very pretty though. So it is another Metroidvania game, and there are sadly not enough of those. Just kidding. There's a million of those.
It's true.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Japanese name in this one, and Ender Lilies not making sense. That's not the full name. The full name of this game is Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights.
Sure.
What does Quietus
make sense?
Like Quietus.
Is that the sequel or is that this one? Because I know there's a new game coming out.
Oh, is it? No, this is 2021. I think. That's
okay, so this is this game, and there's a sequel to this game coming out, and he has even a longer name, Mark. So there you go.
I love it. Quietus.
Yeah,
it's my new favorite
it's cute, but there's a lot of text to read. You're like picking up all these logs, and it's like, oh, I don't want to read all of this. Don't make me read, please, video games. Don't make me read.
It's fair.
The sequel is called Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist.
Oh, boy.
Holy.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yep.
Somebody likes flowers.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise films.
Vanilla
Magnolia.
Sky.
Yeah, there you go. The ongoing joke there, Mark. Dan wants everyone to watch Vanilla Skies.
It's a terrible movie.
I've never watched it.
Don't.
Mark?
Or not.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. It's not good.
Sounds familiar.
Oh, Penelope Cruz is in that one too?
Yes, there was a Penelope.
They're both in that one, aren't they?
I think they're both in it, right?
Yeah.
It's not a good
tough decisions, Tom Cruise. I have decides between two hot women. I guess I'll never know. Problems. Maybe I'll have to figure that out eventually. And then lastly, this was a big surprise. This warms my heart. Epic Mickey Rebrushed. So this was the game that was trapped on the Wii. The worst system in the world, looked not attractive. The art style was amazing. Warren Spector said he's going to really make a cool Mickey game that feels different. He made it for the Wii, and we said, "Oh, the Wii." Playing it on Steam, though.
This game's effing awesome when it was on the Wii.
Yes.
So I don't know what you were saying, but I utterly enjoyed this game when it came out.
Mark, that Vaseline on your screen, the having to use the waggle and the Wiimote. Having played it though on Steam, the game looks so beautiful, controls so well with the standard controller, and I wanted to keep playing it. The demo shuts me off. I'm like, damn it! I think this is an amazing game. Finn will love this game, Mark. It's amazing. Oswald the Rabbit, and I don't know, Bacon, if you ever played any of the Epic Mickey games, but if you're a Disney fan, this is really fun to see Mickey once again being a scoundrel, having fun, and just being a character versus just being a corporate sponsor in a tuxedo.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I played it. It's great.
Where's the demo? Is the demo available everywhere? Where did you play
I think it's everywhere, but I played it on Steam. That's where I played it on.
Okay.
So it's called Rebrushed, but yeah, it's great. But my heart is really, I've pre-ordered Astrobot and I'm waiting for Outlaws. Then Space Marine 2 comes out on, I think, Friday. So I'm just like, the games are going to start coming and not stopping. So I got time for the games that I love, not games that are just okay. So I think the playtime's over, gentlemen. We are in the fury of the moment. So pick your games wisely.
Am I the only one that thought Space Marine 2 was in Game Pass?
Wait, it's not?
For the longest,
I thought it is.
I don't think it is.
What?
I'm pretty
sure. That's why I didn't think about buying it.
I'm telling you, I've been thinking about this, and I'm like, I haven't seen the coming soon, and so I kind of looked into it, and I'm pretty sure it's
not showing up on the app either. I'm like, oh, it's showing there. Okay, we need to search this out because I thought it was on Game Pass.
Yeah, me too.
I know. So apparently I'm not the only one.
Yeah, definitely not. No, that was
Bacon. Oh, what is this saying? I don't see anything.
Telling you.
Playable on Xbox Series S. I'm right on the webpage on Xbox. It doesn't. I mean, where would it say Game Pass? Go to game.
Okay, so there's a Reddit thing saying, is Space Marine 2 coming to Game Pass? I remember it being announced for Game Pass some time ago, but the recent marketing saying is not showing the Game Pass logo. And someone said,
what? Oh, no.
No, it is not coming.
Right.
I swear
I thought I'm taking crazy pills here. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's in Game Pass.
Reddit is backing us up. Reddit is saying like, no, for sure this was announced for Game Pass. And people are arguing like, no, it wasn't. Yes, it totally was. Like,
is this one of those Mandela moments or something where like we all like have been drinking the Kool-Aid?
Oh, and someone else is in here saying, for information, Space Marine 2 will be available on Game Pass and it releases September 9th.
Really?
What?
Is there a trailer out there? Because wouldn't the trailer say like, if it's an official trailer, say on Game Pass?
Unless they don't want to like advertise it so they lose sales, but most of us think it's on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm looking at the trailer right now. I'm looking at the end credits. This is from Okay, look in here. It just says Xbox Series S and X. Season Pass.
Interesting.
Season Pass. Come on.
Come launch day, we're a Space Marine.
I didn't see anything on Game Pass on that latest trailer.
If there's a Reddit post, everyone else has to think that it was coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like go through the post that I just saw on Reddit was like straight up like, yeah, this was definitely announced.
Does Xbox put a thing out there that says what's coming to Game Pass? Like an official Game Pass? There's a Game Pass? I don't know, folks. We need the Game Pass detective on this. So anybody know him? Call him out.
Yeah. Wow.
This is so weird. Bacon, you've shaken my world.
I know, because I was really looking forward to playing it, and then when I started looking into it, I'm like, I got to buy
I can't pre-install it on my Xbox or my well, now I have no. Well, that leads me into my update. So I did indeed help Sean Nias build a PC. So that was part of my update. We built a beast of a machine. We have the RTX 48 Super. We have it was a Ryzen 7950 X3D. I don't know. Ryzen.
That's better.
Is it the 7950 X3D? Yep. Is that the one? Okay. Got that 92 gigabytes of RAM.
A lot of RAM.
Mark, you're a Mac guy. 92 gigabytes of RAM. Is that even possible? You love that on your
yeah.
It is, but I'll set it back 10 grand just for the RAM.
That's
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I have 64 gigs of mine.
I have 64 gigs of mine too because of Micro Center. They comped me apparently. But yeah, he's got like all these coolers. He's got 6 fans in the case, one ridiculous cooler on his CPU. We almost killed his CPU because apparently the risers on his cooler were upside down, so they weren't actually making contact with the cooler. We're like, why is it going to like 130 degrees Celsius? So we panicked. It shut off and we fixed it. So that was good to go. He's got a 4 terabyte SSD, the Samsung 990 SSD. He used an old PlayStation 1 terabyte SSD as well. So he's got 5 terabytes of stuff there. He's got the 49-inch Samsung 1440p screen with 240 hertz of refresh rate.
That's the end game monitor, fellas. The end game.
Oh, it's all
ridiculous. You'll ever need is that monitor. Yep.
And what is the first game he played on it, Mark?
Fortnite.
Well, not him, but
Tetris.
Henry.
Roblox.
Nope, he played Fortnite.
Fortnite, okay.
Of course. Yeah, so there you go. And we are Steam family friends now.
If you're going to show off a game, Fortnite's not...
It does look pretty good. They're using what? Unreal Engine 5 and all of the tech. And it looks,
they've got some pretty impressive tech in Fortnite. Yeah. If you can turn it on.
I told him to play Hellblade 2 with his son, but I mean... Depression battling, maybe not.
Family weekend time.
Exactly. Okay, and then my last story is I finally sold my Xbox Series X because I have my 4070 PC. I'm good to go. I don't need an Xbox anymore. My son went to college, so I can't do both. I don't need that anymore, so I'm good to go. The first offer on Facebook Marketplace was a 1990 Toyota Camry or Corolla. That was interesting. I couldn't tell if they were banging on me, but I'm like, that sounds like it's going to cost me a lot more in the long run than an Xbox Series X. So probably not. So I said no. So I eventually did find somebody who sold it to me. We bartered down to $335. So I'm like, yeah, take it. Enjoy. I've got money now. And I then reclaimed my Xbox 360 from Sean and Henry because they had it. So I have my Xbox 360 now. So I've got like my old catalog of gaming, my old games, my stuff. So I'm covered from like the old Xbox stuff and I'm covered in the future. So that's where I am in my gaming life.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. It is time for our last round. That is the bonus round. Our topic this week is hardware predictions for next gen and the Switch 2. Switch 2 is dangerously close to being announced sometime in fiscal year 25 for Nintendo. They have to announce something before March 31st, I think, of 2025 to get in their fiscal year. That's when they said they were doing it. We know that Tokyo Game Show is coming out in September, and we do know that they've got to start building these things. So either someone is going to leak from the production side or at Tokyo Game Show, because they're going to start developing for this system, because Nintendo obviously wants to have games from third party, and they can't just say, make it on the Switch. So we know that's coming. We are hearing predictions for and rumors about a PlayStation 5 Pro. And then Xbox is the only thing they've said is the next system we will make is the largest technological leap in Xbox history. They didn't say powerful. It's a technological leap. So that could mean a lot of things. So this is kind of like our place in the sand as of right now, because it doesn't really matter because things could change. But we're going to take our thoughts on what our predictions are for the next gen of PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. But before we do that, we're going to go into our comments. So thank you to Daddy Diwali. He's a spicy take. Bacon. How would Dan say it?
How would you say spicy take?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, because he does this like all these things. Spicy. And obviously, there we go. Spicy take.
Maybe do funny faces.
Spicy
take?
Like over like caricature.
Hope he doesn't watch this.
Yeah. Oh, yes. He's got to. Spicy take. Xbox needs a handheld like Switch. Maybe a hardcore device. Needs to be like a PC. Is that close enough?
That is. And funny thing, the reason why he does that now is Zenkai, our buddy on YouTube, who has like 1 million followers, kept telling us our thumbnails suck and we need to put our faces on our thumbnails. That's why we've started doing that. But we were also told we should run down the news and notes or everything that's going to be in the episode prior to getting into the story so people know what's coming and why they would stay. So that's why Dan does that now at the intro. Series X? Is it dead? And that's why we do
overdone.
It that way now, so.
Mark, if you could just start doing that for us, that'd be great. You want some I can give you some great images in my face?
Yeah, definitely want to do that.
By all means, take it all. It's yours. No trademark, Todd Extra. And then Dan says PlayStation continues to be PlayStation and a PS Vita 2 because Vita means life. Dinero Primero says that's not a spicy take at all. That's kind of like what I want them to do, a traditional under the TV console that's close to PC as possible, and then a nice handheld that can be their 2 SKU approach. And then Dan comes back, okay, spicy take. Only handheld like Switch device, no other hardware.
Ooh,
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard it from the minions, the good people out there. So I'm going to turn to Bacon. We talked a little bit about this when I was on the Nerd Chat, a little bit about kind of like where this is headed because of PS5 Pro, but we really didn't get into Switch because Switch is just kind of like not even acknowledged on the show. So what do you think? Where are you at with Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch numero dos?
So I'll start with the Switch. I hope that I have a 4090. I have a 16-core processor in my PC. I spend a lot of money on stuff because I want the very best. I want the Switch to be competitive and compete with my ROG Ally. And I don't think that that's impossible for them to do because I can play a lot of AAA games, give it 1080p, 720p or whatnot on the ROG Ally. But there's going to be a price point attached to that. And I don't think they're ever going to be able to hit that Switch price point. And that's what scares me is they're going to have to dumb down the quality again to meet that $300 price point or whatever they live at. Today, I don't think they're going to hit a $300 price point. I think it's going to be a $400 Switch. So I'm hoping for that. And I'm also hoping that the Joy-Cons don't detach from the console itself. Whenever I had one, I always felt like it was so flimsy and I was going to break the Switch whenever I played with it. So, if you do need to have a Joy-Con, they should just sell whatever it is separate, wands or whatever, so you can play all your motion games or whatnot. I just want it to be one continuous unit. PS5 Pro. Again, it can't be a huge leap because it's still the same generation as the PS5. So this one's the easy one. It's going to be a minor spec bump. They're going to have their upscaling, whatever in it. It's going to probably be the best console in the market to play because now you can play Xbox games on it. So it is what it is. If they don't put a 2 terabyte hard drive in that thing, it's a major loss. But the one I want to hit on is going to be the next gen Xbox, which I do believe will be a handheld. But I also believe it'll be dockable to your home console. And then I really hope that they have external GPU support, plug and play. So, when you plug your Switch in, it'll bump it up to 1080p, but I'm talking bump it up to, 1440p or whatever. And then if they're smart, they can offer multiple price points of GPUs you can buy because they're always talking about making the next gen Xbox more PC like. And that's the way to do it. Have upgrades you can buy, but your processor and everything is all in the handheld. And then I even like the idea of them having the SD cards that you can keep games stored on. And so you don't have to always be downloading games. You could just like the old days when we had our saves all on those little, flash drives. So the ROG Ally supports external GPUs. So I think that would be a really cool way to do it. And it's all, in the dock and you just plug it in and all of a sudden you have a 1440p or a 4K machine and then you have your keyboard and all that mounted into it. Because I think they're going to lean heavily on this because with all the issues of optimization for the games for the Series S and stuff, PC has no problem with that. So I'm assuming they're just going to want PC builds of games on the Xbox store. And I think that that's ideally where they're going to go. And this is going to cause the least amount of headaches for them. But I'm sure it's going to be a pricey bundle, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple follow-ups. So Switch 2, do you have a name in mind? Do you have a name in mind for the
Super Switch?
Super Switch.
Okay. It has to be the Super Switch, right?
Super Switch. I love it because it intends to be something different. It's not the Switch. So, Bacon, I've had a joke. I'm going to call it the Switch 2, but it's going to be TU in Spanish, which means you. Okay. So it's a joke. It's like a joke. I'm the worst person in the world. I make fun of it. It is what it is, but I like the Super Switch. Price point.
It's going to be $400.
$400. Okay, cool. I do like the idea of not having to have the Joy-Cons come off because I think that's the worst part of the Switch. Yep. I'm perfectly fine with people because how many people are going to like dock parties, parties where they need to bring it? I rarely see people needing to play with the individual Joy-Cons. It just seems to be a problem that we had to solve by doing this. And the Joy-Cons break all the time. So for Nintendo, it was like, this is a great way to make a lot of money and sell a lot of colors versus really was it a real great way to play. Okay, cool. Next question. PlayStation 5 Pro price.
Oh, it's going to be... Sorry, my dog's going crazy.
Dogs have a comment.
Yeah, it's going to be $600 for the non-disc and it's going to be $700 for the disc. I'm sorry. Those rumors are all true. It's going to be a pricey boy. I mean, that disc drive alone is $79 on Amazon. So I'm sure it's going to be the same footprint as the Slim or whatever the last refresh they did. So you can buy just the digital and then you add the $79 hard or disc drive on there. So it's going to be $700 for the disc, I think.
Remember when the Christmas of 2016, was it 2016? When the PS4 Pro launched, the base PS4 was $300. Or $250 even holiday. God, man, poor people, man, trying to afford anything because nobody's discounting their hardware now. It's just ridiculous.
Must we forget that they launched the PS3 at $600? Remember that?
Yeah, $599. They need to call it like it's $600.01. No $599. Yeah. They need to get away from Kaz Hirai or Ken Kataragi saying that. Last question. Xbox. So you said it's going to be your goal is to get to a dockable mobile handheld like PC like ROG Ally or Steam Deck with that. What do you think they'd price that at?
That's going to be
Because that's a hard one, because you take a hit on the hardware because you're going to make it up on software, but Xbox unfortunately doesn't sell a lot of software, so I'm gonna go 500 for now. Let's go 600 for the, because it's gotta be able to compete. And ROG Ally is Ally X is what, almost 800.
Yeah,
the new one, Ally XX is much more expensive.
It's 800 US, I believe.
I mean, you can't go that high, but you still has to outperform the Switch and the Portal, which isn't hard. So I'm gonna go with 600, and then you're gonna have probably $400 external GPU docks is my best guess. It'll be near 1,000. It's probably a terrible idea, and I'm probably way off base.
No, I mean, but I could see that dock being like, we can overclock it because we've got dedicated power. We can do these things. So it may not be like a GPU, but maybe that's an option. Say, hey, if you're insane,
more memory in the dock,
want to buy a $400 GPU, mount it in, do that. But it might be just like, we can dock it and it's got a dedicated power. You can overclock it. It's also maybe got some cooling to it. So, and because it's away from you don't have to worry about it like being hot or loud. You're good to go. And that's your system you take everywhere and you dock it.
They can't abandon the living room. That would be silly. No. So they got to find a way to make it work. So
I think that's a cool system. I love the idea of a dedicated Xbox device that then just works. And I think the idea is, well, we can sell a hell of a lot more than these than the ROG Ally. So we can probably get our prices down. And we're going to also we're going to make a lot more money because we sell the hardware or the games directly. So we don't take a cut. And I think the games will run better because it's one spec, like the Steam Deck. It's one spec. So people can go down to the hardware and play for it versus like other PCs. So I think there's a benefit and they can get there. Kind of like Nintendo, right? Nintendo will get there because they can go right to the hardware. They can make the specs work. They don't have to worry about all those drivers. And I think the Xbox will solve that too. So very cool. And the last thing I think on the Xbox, I'm hearing they're going to launch in 2026 to get ahead of things. How do you gentlemen feel about that?
It is the smartest thing they could do is get off the same cycle as Sony.
Yeah.
I mean, every year these things have launched against each other, and it's clearly the least popular of the devices. So scrap this gen, which I feel it's been a decent gen, but scrap this gen and just get out early, because the 360 came out earlier than the PS3 and look what it did. So it's probably in their best interest to just get off a different cycle of them.
And realistically, we mentioned earlier in the show, the Xbox One X, that was like a 0.5 upgrade for a system. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that was an incremental step. So if they skip the Pro or the X model of things and just go for like, this is it. Cause like realistically from the Xbox One, they haven't changed the dashboard that much. They haven't changed really how things function. So if
controller's pretty similar too.
The controller is similar. It's better. They're again, iterating on things, but again, like trying to get the RG35, I had an Xbox One controller trying to sync it up. I had the Xbox Series and like handing them back and forth. You're right. They feel pretty similar. So I think you're spot on. Like if they just say, this is our new console, it's the Xbox, whatever. That's it. Here's the box that can go next to your TV. Here's a handheld that can do this. Here's a thing that you can dock the handheld in if that's the kind of guy, player you are. And they'll have that kind of step, but I think they're obviously going to try to do it a little bit better than this generation, which from all the reports seems to be holding them back with the Series S versus Series X and the way they're changed. I think you're spot on with the assessment that it needs to be more PC-like. It needs to just be like, here's the Windows version of this game basically running, and it's just hardware spec'd. Because we hear developers just saying like the mandate to have things on the Series S is holding back. And that's why we don't see some things, or we don't see them as running as well, or we just straight up skipping or whatever. So yeah, I think Xbox has some stuff to learn, but I also genuinely think they could keep this like cut off the S, have the Xbox Series S as the entry point, because I think that's still going to be powerful enough that it'll be a dashboard change. It'll be an update. This thing's running Windows now. It's running a little bit more similar to a PC. And we have this new hardware. So I think Xbox is going to start to blur lines of a console generation anyway. And I think you're spot on. Like, just do it whenever they want to, as soon as they can. Don't wait for PlayStation. PlayStation can release a Pro, and you guys are working on the next big idea, right? And I think we also can't forget that Xbox wants Game Pass on everything. I think we're going to see more and more. We're seeing little glimpses of this future of, here's an Amazon Fire Stick and an Xbox controller and a Game Pass subscription. This is what you need. And there's going to be people at that level and then at the higher level. So I think Xbox is going to be doing some really weird shit too, to try to differentiate themselves. I want to see an Xbox that has a similar mindset to Nintendo in the Wii era. I'm not saying like underpowered hardware, but like trying some weird shit.
Be different.
100%. Blue ocean strategy, do whatever, like that kind of stuff. Like I want that like weird mindset of like, here's what the most powerful company in the world can do when they get weird and let themselves not be just in an arms race with Sony. Like I think that kind of mentality could help them too. So I'm excited for what Xbox has in the future. I think PlayStation's gearing up to do more powerful boxes in incremental steps, and I think you're spot on with like the pricing and all that kind of stuff. And PlayStation Pro, and then we'll see PlayStation 6 and whatever.
Okay, Mark, I'm not going to let you get away with being very vague. I'm going to pin you down. Okay.
Yep.
So we're going to go back. Okay. We're going to start with the closest one in. PlayStation, what are they going to do really quick? And price.
I was being vague because I think Bacon nailed it. Like, I think that's going to, like, I think the rumors are going to be true. Like, we've seen pretty much rumors of like a $700 PlayStation 5 Pro. I think that's going to be accurate. So no notes on that one. That's why I was being vague. I wasn't being vague more or less.
$600.
Like agreeing.
Bam. All right.
If you could see them maybe doing $650 if there's a lot of kickback of like, no one's going to buy this or like that. Like if they did those little like leaks as market research and everyone's like, fudge that. Sorry, Henry, I almost slipped up there. But like, what I mean? Like there's like I don't see them dropping it. No one's dropping the console prices right now.
They don't have to.
Yep. So I just,
they continue to outsell 2-1. They don't have to do anything. Yeah.
It's almost like why even upgrade? But like, I guess people are kind of, they want to get ahead.
If you haven't bought yet, are you going to buy the newest best? Maybe that's the entry point, or the dedicated folks that love the newest best and they're going to trade in their PS4.
Yeah.
Or PS5. Sorry.
That hardware sale dip before it happens, I guess.
I just don't see those people that are still holding onto their PS4, their Xbox One to play Fortnite, Minecraft, are going to update for a $600 box. It's just crazy. So they're probably going to wait for the Switch and they say, I'll get the Switch too. It's new. It's just crazy. It's just weird. Because like I said, 2016, you could buy the PS4 base model for $250. Just ain't happening now. That's crazy. Although you'll probably be able to get an Xbox Series S for $250 during the holiday as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can still buy your, and then Switches never drop their price. Ever.
They'll do that, or you'll see more Amazon bundles or whatever. Yeah. Like you'll see. Yeah, you'll see that. That's like the 2 entry points, right? Like those will be cheap for the holidays, and then anyone that wants something more powerful. It's not, mom and pop kind of like buying those things. It's not like the casual gamers. It's us who will sell other things to do this and sell our kidneys to get, something more powerful or with a shinier sticker on it or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that, like, yeah, it's that kind of crew that's like going to be excited for this and talk about it on podcasts and put the money up. So they know that we will like, oh, $600 versus $700. Well, okay, cool. I won't do this for a month and then I'll have $700. Okay, cool. Let's do that.
Well, I'm sure Sony's trying to get out of the physical game market too, because we all know with physical games, they get the sale one time, then it goes to GameStop, and then it changes hands 30 times. So if they make the price of the physical version of the PS5 Pro almost exorbitantly high, then people are going to buy the cheaper model and then continue to buy digital games. So then they're getting multiple sales. GameStop is probably the worst thing for these guys because, like I said, you only get the sale one time.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why the Series S has always been digital, and then we got a Series X that's digital is now too. So it's essentially Nintendo's the only one that has not released a digital-only system. So we'll see if that happens. So Mark, Xbox, what are they doing?
Like I said, man, I think they're getting weird. I could really see the Xbox Series X dropping in price in a couple of years if they're launching some new hardware, a year or two, whatever it is. I could see the Xbox Series S just kind of going away and being replaced by those weird little Amazon bundles and that kind of stuff. Bundle it with a controller. Here's your your streaming stick. I'm so up in the air on an Xbox dedicated handheld. Because on one hand, I think you have the ROG Ally and that kind of stuff that advertises with like Windows 11, Game Pass, get all your games here. Why are they going to make their own setup for that when you have these things that people already like and can do a bunch of stuff? And that's why I'm wondering if they're going to focus on a Microsoft store, more stuff on Game Pass, just Game Pass everywhere, right? So that one I'm kind of up in the air about, but I would love to see Xbox, and they've admitted themselves, like Phil Spencer has come out and said, I'd love to have a handheld. So it makes sense. I think from a like you said, we want to control the hardware. We want to make our own thing. We want to like showcase that. Like Microsoft makes some great hardware, some great products. So why not do something that way?
Jez Corden said multiple times he's 99% sure there's going to be a handheld.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what they do, and is it going to look like a
they call it the Xbox Surface?
That
would be cool if they call it the Xbox
Surface with controllers. They make some really cool hardware, man. That's
my son just got the he got the Snapdragon Windows laptop from Asus. He almost got the Surface laptop. It's a very nice piece of kit. So I mean, they can make some good stuff, and using the Surface line, calling it Xbox Surface, kind of denotes a different approach to their gaming profile, which could be interesting.
And gives that kind of like premium, because like the Surface stuff can be like pretty premium, kind of
cheap,
and it's and if they pitch it the right way, like it could be, if they go with a Surface, I'm really curious if they will it be more of an Xbox or will it be a gaming PC handheld? You know what I mean? Like there's a distinction there, right? And I'm wondering if that's what I said before. Like, will they be trying to make the Xbox in the next iteration just be a little bit more Windows? Simplified. Here's the next Xbox is basically just a PC with a skin on it that looks like the Xbox store and, the console face. But realistically, you could take that Xbox box, plug a mouse and keyboard in it, and use it like a PC.
Like Steam Big Picture Mode. That is the coolest thing that Steam invented. They basically said, we're going to try to come up with a UI that takes you out of your thinking it's a PC into it's a gaming system, and that's where the Steam Deck kind of iterated its on. So I think if Xbox can just figure out a way to make a Xbox UI for Windows,
yeah, that's it.
That just boots you directly in versus I have to deal with a start screen and all these extra things, and just make it dumbed down to what it looks like.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. So last mark, Switch Duo,
Switch
whatever you want to call
Electric Boogaloo, 100%. I've been saying Super Switch forever. Nice so Bacon, reference. I'm gonna steal or copy you once again and just say Super Switch, 100%. I've been saying that forever. I don't know. I think I'm still nervous about the rumors about a magnetic Joy-Con thing. I just the Joy-Con feel wiggly enough as is. They're solid. Finn dropped my Switch, one Joy-Con flew off. I plugged it back in. It was fine. I was like, the Nintendo builds toys that are meant to hold up against kids. So that's, but like a magnetic one, I'm just like, I don't know. There's weird rumors about that kind of stuff, but Nintendo does weird stuff. They do what they're going to do. I think they're going to launch this. Yeah, probably about $100 more than what a Switch is right now. So what's that even cost?
If it's a base model, then it's $300, so it'd be $400. The OLED is $350.
Oof.
Yeah.
The Switch Lite is $200.
Yeah.
It's $500.
Fudge.
Wow.
But I mean, aside from that, yeah, I'm not expecting Nintendo to compete on power. We did see, so I did find that thing that I was talking about before we started recording, which is in a recent interview with IGN at Gamescom, Yuji Horii has confirmed that Dragon Quest XII will be launching on Nintendo's next console. So first, like one of the first confirmed games for the Super Switch. And like Amazon Games has said, we're definitely going to be putting some stuff on this. So you have like industry players that are saying like, yeah, something more powerful that can dock and go handheld and all that kind of stuff and has that Nintendo magic. Cool, we're in. And I think the Switch being so successful and having seen what happened between Wii and Wii U, I think this is going to be Nintendo's safe bet sequel. Like I think this is going to be the Super Nintendo to the NES. I don't think we're going to have another like big weird swing because I don't think this is the time for that, economy wise, just like where the marketplace is. I think Nintendo just has to like, they'll still have some weird Nintendo magic and stuff in there. But like for the most part, I think this is just going to be a more powerful Switch with a little bit of like, hey, it's been friggin' 8 years since we launched. Here's some magnets for the Joy-Con. Here's something that works better. Here's some Hall sticks or whatever. Like, hopefully we'll have those little bits of like niceties in there that'll keep things from breaking and just show that they learned some lessons along the way. But like, I think there's going to be a safe bet.
But it's also got to be able to run Call of Duty per that agreement Microsoft.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, thank God they're still making Call of Duty games on PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
That helps them quite a bit. Okay, price. Mark, you have not told me prices on any of these systems. Did you say a price on the PS5 Pro?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
600 or whatever, 600.
700. Holy crap. Okay. Xbox, their device.
An Xbox price for a handheld, I think you're going to be pushing the same kind of thing for a handheld. If it's going to compete with a ROG Ally, like you're going to be looking at like $600-700 easy. If they throw the Surface name on it and it's like a premium kind of product, I think I would not be surprised if it came with a dock for $800.
Yeah. It's going to be like metal. It's going to be like beautiful black, not stainless steel. Yeah. I love that.
But I think it's going to be a versatile product to ask for that kind of money. But I think like the dock one, I would not be surprised if you're pushing damn near close to $1,000, especially Canadian prices. Like I think we'll be looking at four figures. And for Switch, I think you're going to be in that, what are we saying, like $400 range. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, I'll wrap it up. PS5 Pro, digital only, $600 with the option to add a disk drive. I don't think they're going to launch a disk model because I don't think they want anybody to be like, holy shit, I'm having a heart attack when they look at that price. I think it'll be like
my 700
it's
was
available.
the disk drive version.
Oh, okay, got it.
To clarify that one. Yeah.
Because I think the disk drive you can get it for like $79 right now with the standard PS5 Slim, all those things. So yeah, I think it's going to be like $600. We're not even going to mention $599 because we don't want to bring back the ghosts of what is it? Crab. What was it? The historic crab attack with Kazurai, all the stuff from the PlayStation 3 Direct that was bad. Yeah, we don't want to do that. $599 Ridge Racer. Don't want to do that. So I think that's going to be fine. I think it's going to basically say we're going to get you to like 60 frames per second. Maybe we're going to do some of that up-res, the AI stuff that maybe gets you to 4K. But I think that's all it will be. I don't even think we're going to get that nice update to the PlayStation DualSense, which would have been great. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be, that's what it is. And then it's going to have the 3 stripes like Adidas. So that's what we got there. Xbox. I think this is going to be their platform. It's going to be, if you want a cheap Xbox, go Xbox Cloud. We're going to offer a tier, $10, stream with Game Pass on your devices. That's going to be the cheap entry point. I don't think there will be a Xbox cheap entry point anymore. I think it'll be like, because it didn't do much for them. I think their mid-tier is going to be, it's a dockable system that is a hybrid system like the Switch. It's going to be $600 and it is going to be refined. They're going to take a hit on the cost, but it will be an update over the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally from a hardware perspective. And it'll run great and it'll be refined. It may open up to other game stores. I'm just not sure if they're going to get there right away. And then I think if you want high end, they can't say this, of course, 'cause it sounds horrible. If you want a high end gaming and there's a PC, but I think PC will be where Xbox is. There are other systems that do high end gaming that you can play elsewhere, but you'll have the best experience in a hybrid device on our systems. I think it's the best way they can say it. I think it's going to be $600. Nintendo is going to do some weird stuff. I think they're going to play it safe, but they're going to add a camera finally to do AR, bring AR back in their system because they haven't had a camera forever. I think it's going to add some interesting ideas with AR like they had on the 3DS, which is cool. I think if it is going to be a detachable device with magnets, I think it's going to bring back the Nintendo Health Sensor, whatever they called that, the Vitality Sensor, where they're going to be able to you're going to be able to get your health sensor from it. I think that becomes a health conscious thing. That's probably it. And maybe they use something where it senses your sleep with Pokemon Sleep with your system. So you can sleep by your system. You can be best friends, sleep next to your bed. It's great. And I think it will be around $400, which is frustrating because that is not an instant purchase for most families at $400. That is not something where you buy 2 of them to get into systems. So, I mean, that becomes a hard bet. And I think they will change the Joy-Cons based on their feedback to maybe Hall sensors sticks because they got the Joy-Con drift, which cost them a lot of money. They fixed that. And I think they will try to figure out a way to make NSO a bigger expense but add more value. So I think that'll be something to discuss at launch with potentially finally addressing GameCube games, Virtual Boy, and the Pokemon family of games, which seem to be an opportunity. So I'm thinking $400.
Virtual Boy?
Yeah. For NSO. For NSO.
Dude, they want to bury that thing so hard.
Come on. How many systems do they have left they can add in, Mark? That could be the Wii U.
Approached Nintendo to say, I want to port these games over. I will do the work, add it to the 3DS. It's got 3D built in. Let me just make these retro classic remake things. And they were like, that doesn't exist. Please stop talking. Like it just you. No. GameCube, yes. Pokemon
Mark
games,
doesn't
yes.
understand business the way I do. Nintendo, yeah. I mean,
anything to get more money out of your pockets.
You can make a Virtual Boy tier, Mark, and add an extra $15 a month. Come on.
They could.
There's also only like 10 games available for Virtual Boy. So I don't know if anyone's going to pay for that as a bonus thing. And several of them
Nintendo
are borderline not playable unless you have 3D.
True. I get it. Oh, well. That's where I land. We'll see what happens. Check in whatever amount of time this all comes together, but it's going to be very exciting the next couple of years. So that is it for our show, folks. If we're wrong, let us know. If you agree, also let us know. But with that, Bacon, thank you for joining us tonight, man. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter or X at XbacongamN. You can find me on Steam and Xbox at XbacongamN as well. And every Thursday night, I get together with some of my besties in the world, and we do a little show called the Nerd Chat and Xbox Podcast, where we talk about all things gaming, food, and the good old days. We're probably going to change our names to the Nerd Chat, a PC podcast, because we are all... I did not set out to get all those guys on PC, but they just kind of did. And they're all very happy they did. So if you guys got time to stop by and check us out, we all work in the same circle. So I'm sure everyone that watches this show watches our show. So because of Discord friends and stuff like that. But again, thanks for having me. I'm glad I was able to finally get on over here. And so we'll work on getting Chance over here and hanging out with you gentlemen as well.
Awesome. Absolutely. That brings me back to Mark. Before I ask you where you've been, what is your best favorite Canadian food you ate this week?
Mars bar.
Maple syrup.
Mars bar?
Yeah.
Is that different than like a...
Do you guys have Mars bars down there? I was told you didn't have Mars bars in the States.
I haven't seen one in like 20 years, but I'm pretty sure. We might not have them, actually.
Explain a Mars bar to us, Mark.
It's like nougat. I don't even know.
Probably like a Milky Way.
Yeah, it's like a Milky Way. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we got rid of Mars bar.
Yeah, kind of similar. Okay. I think it might be identical to a Milky Way. I don't know. I really don't know. I've never compared the two. Anyway, I was told Mars bars are exclusive to Canada, so I'll say that because I didn't have any ketchup chips or
Canadian bacon.
I didn't
have Swiss chalet.
Oh, I did have Swiss chalet this week. Yes.
Oh,
say Swiss chalet. It was great.
My goodness. It's Swiss chalet's got to be like our Boston market is the only thing I can think of.
Just like a good rotisserie chicken, kind of like
sounds fancy.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Rotisserie chicken.
Party.
I had rotisserie chicken and ribs. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So say Swiss chalet.
Okay. I was just trying to incorporate the nerd chat discussion because they always ask. So
we talk a lot about food.
Yeah, absolutely. And bad food. Good food. Yeah. Questionable choices.
Yes.
Oh, well. Yeah. All right. And then, Mark, where can people follow you after they learned you eat Mars bars?
You can follow me in my Swiss chalet adventures on mostly Instagram, Threads, and Discord at Canardian_Jedi.
Excellent. And you can follow me at Toxtra on Threads, at Secret Friends Unite at Threads. The best food I ate this week was the food I made. I made a gluten-free lobster roll for my wife, and she loved it.
Okay, hold on.
There you go.
You locked me into a regional variant of best food. Is that you can't say lobster roll is best American food? Did you have anything that was screaming America, like you deep fry an eagle, or what'd you have this week that was
deep fried eagle?
That's deep fried eagle. Yes, I was out there America, I shot an eagle, deep fried it, put on the spittle, and best American food this week. Holy crap! I don't know. I guess it would be my OAP stuffed nachos that I put in the air fryer.
There you go. All right, that's more like it.
That was pretty funny.
Bacon, anything you want to talk about you ate really quick before we leave?
Well, my wife smoked up some ribs today on the Traeger. Started at like 2:00 and ate them just before I came up here on the show. So she's actually getting pretty darn good at that, and had a little corn on the cob that we also cooked up in the Traeger. Because if you're not cooking all your meats on a Traeger, you're doing it wrong.
Beauty.
Absolutely. Very, very good, gents. Well, everyone, have a good night. Thank you for following us in this discussion about gaming that went everywhere, but really what we covered on the topic, who knows? But we had a good time doing it. So, as always, it's always better to game together.
Oh.